10 seconds.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
Welcome to Nevermind the Furthermore, your morning dose of creative conversation and coffee with your host, Brian K. Morris, independent publisher, freelance hybrid author, award-winning playwright, Facebook famous YouTuber, and former mortician's assistant. Get ready to start your day off right.
Let's start that day off right. What do you say? Happy Friday to all y'all out there. It is November 19th, 2021, and we're going to have some fun the next hour and a half. Hopefully. Anyway, I'm author Brian K. Morris. Hope you're having a super day. And let's begin with the attitude of gratitude as he scrolls down to where this damn videos ought to be. There it is. All right. We want to thank, as always, Jeffrey Hayes for sponsoring this episode and Plasma Fire Graphics. Plasma Fire Graphics will look of your book matters to you. You're about 2/3 of the way through NaNoWriMo, and you're thinking to yourself, I'm going to need a book if Spielberg is going to notice me, really good book cover. And so when you want a really good book cover, you want to go to Jeffrey Hayes at Plasma Fire Graphics. Plasma Fire Graphics can do a variety of genres, do wraparound covers, the graphics you'll need to sell it, as well as a beautiful book trailer, and all at independent creator prices. So check out Plasma Fire Graphics. They've got a page on Facebook. Also check out plasmafiregraphics.com. And then you can contact Jeffrey directly from there and get his rate card. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you, because it matters to your readers. And that is what we got today. And also, we want to thank the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. 7 days a week of entertainment and information. Tonight is going to be no exception. We will have Ted and Christine Davies, and not in that order, of course. They're going to be doing Drinking with the Davies. They've got some really luscious drink coming up tonight. I can't remember what it was, but it was something like, I need to know how to make that. But anyway, you'll learn a lot about the drink. And it's how to imbibe responsibly on a budget. You will definitely enjoy that show. Those two are so much fun. And see if this is the night when Christine kills Ted for saying something stupid. It's like watching my life unfold on video. But anyway, please check that out. And then following that will be Nicholas Anthony Tockert on the Historical Fencing Guild, where you can learn to kill your friends safely with bladed weaponry. Then Saturday, from the desk of the Small Press Publisher at 10 p.m., all kinds of great discussions about comic books with the very talented Joe D. McPhee. Then Joe Dog McKeel follows at 11 p.m. with the Saturday night edition of Stupid O'Clock, followed 2 hours later by Last Man Standing with Dan Holofield. And then we wrap up your week with Comics, Chaos, and Sass with the beautiful and talented Heather Ellen. So check out the Rising Tide Broadcast Network page on Facebook, and please give that a like if you would. Also, Patreon is a monthly subscription service where you can support your favorite creators directly with a small financial stipend every month, and it's greatly appreciated and very helpful. It helps keep this show on the air. And among the many perks we offer for your patronage is you get to see your name on this card here. Holy cats, you're famous now. And if you want to see your name here, please go to www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris and see what we have to offer. Anyway, thank you all for being here. And thank you to everyone who gave me leave to leave on Wednesday. I had gotten my flu shot on Tuesday. And unfortunately, your body chemistry changes as you mature. And the days when I don't react to flu shots are long gone. Last year I had a very violent reaction to the flu shot. I wasn't real, it kind of made me a little nervous going and getting my COVID shot not long afterwards. But anyway, we survived it, but I was feeling pretty sickly for most of the day. And then like towards pretty close to bedtime, I'm just sitting there trying to get some writing done. We always press on with the writing because we got a lot to do. And I'm sitting there thinking, I feel good. I feel good all of a sudden. It's just like flip, the switch happened. So thank you to everyone who indulged me on Wednesday. I sincerely appreciate it. I was not feeling well. I didn't even want to do the show, but yeah, as Al Jolson used to say, the show must go on. So it did. I got 60 minutes in, which I was pretty proud of. But anyway, speaking of things that I'm proud of, check out last night's Comic Book Spectrum. We had a great discussion last night on nostalgia from our younger years and also comic books, some great reviews, complaining about Diamond Distribution, the usual falderall. But anyway, it's 2.5 hours of really good stuff, and we hope you'll check that out. And please check us out on YouTube, and please subscribe while you're there. That is greatly appreciated, which reminds me, I gotta do this, and we're at 775 subscribers, and we do thank you, each and every one of you that have subscribed to our channel. We might make another December push to beat 1,000. But we'll see what happens. But you know what's important this morning, though, is your comments. So let's get to those right now. Good morning, Sir Brian, Teresa Dunn, Lady Teresa Mwan. Glad to see you. Hope you're having a great morning so far. Stay warm, sweetheart. And you too, Donna, Carly, Carlene. Hi, Teresa. And hi, Brian. Hi, Donna. How are you? And Phil Thompson, turning my book into an audiobook. You told me you were going to do that. Good man. Good man. Not many people do their comics as audiobooks, and I think that's something really cool that we need to explore more of. And hi, Brian. How are you, my friend? Grand Illusion Show. Glad to see you, sir. I found out what dingus means. You didn't know what a dingus was? I have $38 for Rodman. Well, be sure you send that directly to Brian at brianrodman.com. Hey, Brian. Hey, everyone. Hey, Glenby Fleming. How are you, my friend? Check out last Wednesday's Truthmongers on the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. That was a good show, as always. And keep an eye on Glenn. He's got some good projects coming up. And hey, Glenn. And Eric Hawkins. Morning, folks. Eric, how you doing, guy? And he's probably in the office right now wishing he were elsewhere. But anyway, everyone's saying hello, and I'm saying hello to that beautiful Keisha Acuff, co-host of Cryptid Crunch, and does some stuff here on the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. She's wonderful. Love you. And I hope you start feeling better. I am feeling considerably better than I did on Wednesday, but I had nowhere to go but up. So that kind of works out. But anyway, thank you so much for the well wishes. I sincerely appreciate it. And Carl is back a bed. He was up at 1 a.m., so he's taking a nap. Oh, I hope he's okay. I hope it wasn't for a bad reason. Yeah, I was telling Cookie about, I woke up in the middle of the night. Yeah, I frequently wake up in the middle of the night because my bladder says it's time. And, sometimes you get cramps, like in your leg or something in the middle of the night. And I woke up and I'm stumbling to the bathroom, of course. I didn't break my toe this time. And I got a cramp while I was engaged in the act of relieving myself, which is about as detailed as I'm going to get. You're welcome. So it's kind of rough to be trying to stretch, and the cramp was happening right about where my appendix is, because I still have my appendix. Never got that taken out, but I'm trying to stretch that out and still try to make my goal in the dark. I told Cookie about it this morning, and that woman mocked me with her laughter. It was very hurtful. I don't know why. There's something evil and dark within her. But anyway, when Carl wakes up, tell me, miss him, all right? And I hate the iPod Nano. Well, the iPod Nano has had nothing but good things to say about you, Grand Illusion Show. Shame, shame. And good morning, Ted Davies Artistry. Good to see you, Ted. Ted, hope you're feeling better yourself. And what, Truthmongers is taking a hiatus? Is that it? I did not know that. I thought I'm the only one that did things and didn't tell anyone. Anyway, hope you come back soon, because I really do love that show. And not my comic book, but a children's book. Well, that works out too, Phil. That's very cool. People won't get the dingus joke if they didn't see the show last night. Yes, you must see Comic Book Spectrum last night. It was a very good show, as always. Brian, Clyde, and Eric did a wonderful job on that show, as they always do. And also, programming note, this coming Thursday, we will not be broadcasting. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm allergic to my own announcements. But anyway, we will not be broadcasting Comic Book Spectrum next Tuesday because of the Thanksgiving holiday. Now, Thanksgiving, we will have a BK Minute that morning. So that'll be preset and in the can and ready to go, because that will be, assuming we don't get bad weather, we will be in West Des Moines, Iowa on Friday, a week from today and a week from tomorrow. Yes, Black Friday. We will be at the Valley West Mall with Jen Thompson, author Michaela Jade, and Cookie, among other luminaries of the literary world. And if anyone is interested in attending that show as a vendor, please contact me or Jen Thompson. It's Jen with 2 N's, and see if there's any space left. So anyway, it is alive! Carl, welcome. I'm glad you're awake, sir. And tonight is the Green Room at Uncle Carl's Secret Humor page, which is no secret at all. And, it kind of reminds me of those old episodes of Doctor Who from the John Pertwee era, where it would have, like, outside of unit headquarters, the top secret organization. It was a top secret unit headquarters, a big sign in the front lawn. It was kind of like Langley, Virginia, for the CIA. It's like, the secret headquarters of the Central Intelligence Agency, but everyone knew where it was. Anyway, Eric Hawkins says, I won Drawn and Quartered Fan Edition last night, and we'll be back on the Pro Edition next week, unless they are doing anime again. Yeah. Eric does a pair of shows where basically he kicks. I maintain that Eric is a pro. Not just the fact that he's gotten money for his comic book work and continues to, but also his attitude. He's a very professional guy. In fact, that was one of the things we were discussing in our usual thread that on Facebook, that there are some people in comics that need a checkup from the neck up. They do one comic a year and complain about how hard life is. Where Eric gets at least 2 out a year. He was on target to do 3 or 4 this year, but it just didn't work out due to real life. But he goes on this Drawn and Quartered show, which is usually pretty interesting. Eric is always interesting, at least. But the thing is, the Pro Edition, the pros don't like him because he whips them. And they can't understand why people like his stuff better. He's a better artist, you goobs. Anyway, so anyway, now that we've ragged on the professionals, and if Miller needs a writer, just let him know I'm available. Anyway, but no, congratulations, Eric. I'm so proud of you as always. And Skunk Rocker, don't apologize for being late, man. You're just on time. We're glad to see you here. Hope you're having a great morning. And late cramp led to kicking that twisted back, so I was awake at 1 a.m. Oh, dude, I'm sorry. I think I woke up about 4:30, and I didn't get to bed till about 2:30. Actually, I've had a couple nights where I didn't get to bed very early. 2 nights ago, I had the update on my one of my laptops for Windows 11, and I installed that on the my work laptop. See, I have a work laptop, and then I had my former broadcasting laptop, and now that I have the CPU, thank you, Carl, for your donation to the cause. I'm gonna figure out what to do with that second one. They actually have a third one that's full of files and stuff I need to get out of there. But anyway, hashtag real world problems. Oh, I've got too many laptops. I can't get them all up to Windows 11. In fact, I did the thing online, and I'm gonna have to figure out what I have to do to get the CPU up to Windows 11 standards, because it said it wouldn't do it. So anyway, we'll check that out later. But anyway, had an intestinal emergency. Holy cats, dude! I hope you're okay. I hope everything came out in the end. And grazie, Eric, and hi, Skunk. And the show last night was amazing. People should have seen it. A Grand Illusion show. You could not be more right. We had a great show last night. It was a lot of fun. And anyway, good morning, Evermorians. Still getting my butt handed to me at work, but I'll manage one way or another. You will, man. And the weekend beckons. You're going to have a great weekend, sir. I just feel it. I've been feeling it. Oh yeah. Anyway, thank you, Ryan Permisson, for sharing this broadcast. Always appreciated, my friend. And Brian Rodman, good morning, my fellow Brian and Evermorians. Last night we had a blast on Comic Book Spectrum. Indeed, we did, sir. And apparently, I came in at the perfect time this morning. The first words I heard were, "I got a cramp while releasing myself. It's gonna be a good day now." Yeah, if only by comparison, right? It's like, man, I never have. And especially when you're having it like near your appendix, because if you're a hypochondriac like me, you're thinking, oh dear God, my appendix is going to burst, as is my bladder. But I can at least take care of my bladder. But anyway, no, you picked the right time. Show up, Brian. As always, check out BrianRodman.com and buy those comic books of his because he's really good. And good morning again, everyone. Good morning to you, Carl. Glad to see you here. Ted Davies Artistry, drinking the Davies. That's it. Mixing up the rum chata iced latte. Chris will be there mixing it up. I'll be there running the StreamYard quietly. Yeah, right. Yeah, no more than I would be. And those murderous looks from Christine, they make the whole evening worthwhile. Great, Eric. And anyone out here made their book into audiobooks. I've got files for an audiobook for Santa Sign I haven't fully edited yet. And I do have one of my works that will be in an audiobook soon. The recently released volume 2 of the Snow Shorts collection in paperback. Ryan Permisson, now's your opportunity. My understanding from Bobby Nash, hashtag always promote your friends, www.bobbynash.com. He was preparing the audiobook files while the ebooks were being released. So actually mine was the first one done. So I'm really looking forward to having my first audiobook. That is so cool. And Ryan Permisson says, happy Friday, Nevermorians. How are you? I'm doing well. Good to hear. And subscribe to the channel today for great nerdy content, Nerd Culture Channel on YouTube. It is good stuff. And I can't wait to see the day when Brian Rodman dresses like Braveheart and yells, "They may dye my beard, but they will never take my cornerstone girl costume." Yeah, and he looks so good as Jessica Rabbit. So even with the beard. And he's Bonnie. Good morning, Brian. Glad you're feeling better. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And when does a joke become a dad joke? When it becomes apparent. I hope you're having a great one, Ace. And from the desk of Small Press Publisher, 10 p.m. on Saturday nights on the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. Thank you for being there last night. Morning, Brian and Madam Executive Producer. Hope all is well. And that Brian found some rails after last night. Not a single one, dude. If we had a field of rails, alas, it would lie fallow. We just went off the rails immediately, as we tend to do on that show, which is probably why it's so darn entertaining, So yeah, you saw the damage we did. And yes, the Secret Humor Group is more private than secret. There was a reason for the name at the time. Find out why tonight. Yes. And if you want to join the Secret Humor page, one, you cannot be offendable. You must not be able to be offended. There are just a few simple rules, and if you can abide by them, you're fine. Like no politics, that sort of thing. We had one jackwagon a couple of months ago who decided that it didn't run away fast enough, so it was his forum to espouse his love of, like, what was it, domestic abuse or something idiotic like that, and out of there he went. So I'm not surprised. I know the guy in real life. But anyway, it's a fun time. It is raucous. I'll try to show up tonight. I will see if I can't get some time. I am proud to say I am well ahead of my my taping for the BK Minutes. And so we're pushing on with that. I've got an article I want to get done in the next few days because I'm going to see my editor in about 2 weeks. That's going to be fun. So anyway, and we'll be broadcasting about that next week. We're going to be at a show called Writer's Block in Toledo, Ohio, at a mall up on the north side of town. And Jim Beard will be there. I'm really excited about that because I love Jim. He's great. And Grand Illusion Show, are they going to make a live action movie about Zatanna Zatara? Don't know, but here, dude, Zatanna did make an appearance in Smallville in an episode or two, so you can hunt those down. And Angie Watson, dude, it's good morning. Mwah, Angie, how are you this morning? Hope you and Grant are doing well. Everyone's saying hello. Enjoy this Monday, November 22nd at 8 p.m. Eastern for the 25th anniversary watch along of Star Trek First Contact on Facebook and YouTube at It's Nerd Culture. That'll be fun. And stay tuned from the desk of the Small Press Publisher this Saturday. It'll be our official 100th episode. That is Joe D. McPhee. That I think that is so cool that you kept track. I've kind of lost track of how many comic book spectrums we've done. I think I want to say we're in the 30s now, maybe real close to 40. And never mind the furthermore, I have no clue how many we've done. I just know we've been doing them for about 6 years. And for a while, it's kind of weird. We can't even go back and figure X number of, shows per week times weeks times year. Because we started out as a weekly show at 11 a.m. I remember it was like 11 a.m. on Fridays. And we've moved this show around. And then we started doing 2 times a week because I had to miss a Friday because I was traveling to a convention. So I decided to do like Monday, and I pushed it back to Friday so I could the other show to Friday. And then during the pandemic lockdown in 2020, I was doing 7 shows a week because I was a moron. And then we cut back down to 3. And then we've had some weeks where, we've skipped and stuff. So, excuse me. So, I don't really know how many I've done. I know I've done one more than 100, but, and good shows, let's see. Anyway, no, that's very cool. I hope you will be doing something appropriately amazing to celebrate this milestone, Joe. I really do, because I think that is an accomplishment. Because a lot of people who do this thing, I saw somebody who did like, they had their channel, they did like 5 videos like 5 years before, and what they were basically they were rebroadcasting somebody else's material, and then they decided to get that sweet YouTube money, which is more difficult than it looks. So, believe me. And they did like 3 episodes. One, they were getting like 10, 12 views, and then suddenly they got one that got something like a couple hundred, and so they tried to do it again. But the thing is, you can't unless it's you get like that the secret sauce going with the subject matter and presentation merging adequately. You can't go to the well again. If I did, if I did something other than this, I might be at 15,000 or more subscribers. Who knows? But I like this. But no, it's wacky. Nobody understands this, and YouTube, of course, is not going to tell us, because the minute somebody learns how to do it, somebody will game the system, and then they make sure nobody else can do it. So anyway, Ryan Permisson says, join him live at noon Eastern and I quote, with writer and podcaster Russell Allen, Russ Explode Studios. We'll be taking your questions, so don't miss it. So have your questions for Russell there, and join him on Facebook for that great show. Today's Artistry, 5 p.m. Eastern, from the trenches of Hollywood, Episode 3. Crime novelist David Putnam is giving us a scoop on writing. The best-selling author tell Ted and Craig his process. Good for him. It ought to be a good show, and everyone's saying good morning to Donna. And 80 to 90% of all computers will not work with Windows 11, and you should be happy about that from what I've seen of Windows 11. I've seen a couple of things. I just don't know that it was... I don't see a whole lot of difference, except for a couple of screens that have come up. There is something to help you focus on your work habits that I'm looking into exploring. There are some programs out there basically that will, like, for instance, not allow you to get on social media for a few minutes so that there's no distraction when you're writing. which I think is a great thing. It replaces discipline. So, and it's one of those things where, Carl, I think it's kind of like Cookie and I have this thing. We rarely go to new restaurants for the first 6 months because even if it's a franchise, and franchises have their practices down by, a certain amount of time. So when you go to, say, a McDonald's in Toledo, Ohio, and a McDonald's in, say, Georgetown, Illinois, and they do have one. If one of them just opened, you would expect them to have the same level of quality of service and food. Yes, that was deliberate. In both places, which is what a franchise is about mostly. But usually when they first open, there's still that, you've got new people working there. You've got people who've never done fast food. You've got people that just don't know how to work together as a team yet. And so we like to wait a little while before we go in. So, the food's halfway decent. So I Windows 11, we'll give it a chance. My whole thing about Windows is like stability. There's a lot about 10 I liked. A lot of the bells and whistles, I have to say that I'm not a big fan of when you call up your files. What would you call it? The one little file explorer. I'm not real happy with the format on that. I think it's you don't have quite the versatility you did with the Windows 10 version. So, it is what it is, and it's not like we'll have a choice. But anyway, Carl, we'll see what happens. And I had someone on Fiverr ghostwrite my story. Well, good for you, Philip. Good. Fiverr is a viable resource for people to do things that either they don't know how to do or can't do or don't want to do. And a lot of now there's some really good announcers on there too. So very good, Philip. Good for you. Glenn Fleming says, I know someone with an amazing voice for audiobooks. Just saying, I know 2 people in the same house like that. And by the way, Glenn, I probably need to talk to you about redoing a video you did for me. It shouldn't be too hard. But anyway, and George Soroy, it is so good to see you. George Soroy is part of our podcast wing. Good morning. I have nearly 15 narrated audiobooks to my credit. 2 are my own books, with a 3rd on the way, and the rest are for various clients. Well, you've got a great voice, dude. In my head, I sound like Minnie Mouse on helium. So I'm not sure I would be narrating too many of my own books, but I've got a beautiful audio of Sandestein that I've been editing off and on for a couple of years now. And I need to get that out there. That's one of my goals for 2022 is to get my audiobook out there. But good to see you, George. Hope you're having a great morning so far. And yay, Ted is alive too. Yay. And if Rodman was Jessica Rabbit, who is Roger Rabbit? It's going to be a morning. Anyway, Phil, Brian, you write your own stories or have someone else ghostwrite bit? No, I go by what an artist writer named Bill Everett used to say. Hi, honey. Hi. How you feeling? Feeling better. Oh, good. Cookie went out to Massage Envy and got herself massaged. I volunteered to do it. I specialize, though, in the areas. Love you. I love you. Now you go back to bed.
No, I've got work.
My stick is in the side of the laptop.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's my editor for the BK Minutes. Yes?
Yes.
Yes, and a good editor she is. Yeah, see? She's proud of her humility. But no. Anyway, Bill Everett, it was in the Steranko History of Comics, Volume 1. I remember reading that he said that he didn't really try to swipe from anyone, borrow anybody's artistic style. He had a wonderful style of his own. And for those of you who don't know, Bill Everett was the creator of Prince Namor, the Submariner. And he was a very talented penciler, and he could write and letter and ink and color. And he was the original artist on Daredevil, Matt Murdock Daredevil, back in 1964, I think it was. And Bill had his health and life challenges, unfortunately. But and he's no longer with us, sorry to say. But he said something in that book I mentioned earlier by Jim Steranko, where he said about my style. I don't borrow from anyone else. It may be lousy, but at least it's all mine. I have never used anyone to ghostwrite my stories. If I get a plot suggestion from somebody, I would give them credit. But no, I've never used a ghostwriter. I've toyed with the idea of ghost writing, and I do have some books that I will be writing under an assumed name, but we'll see about that. I'll be ghost writing for myself mostly. Anyway, but no, I've never have. I do have at least 2 friends that have done ghostwriting work. And it's pretty good if you don't mind just cashing the checks and putting your ego aside. But a lot of times they have to sign what's called a non-disclosure agreement so that if they're writing for someone else, they can't reveal that they were the writer. And my ego is too big for that. George Saray goes, and if you're a podcast listener, the latest episode From Dusk Till Dark Outside the Marvel Studios covers 2006 X-Men The Last Stand. So definitely check that out. George, feel free to put a link in so that people can find your amazing work. And, well, obviously it would be Brian. And Rabbit, Brian makes sense to me. And frankly, I think Morris would look great in fluffy white rabbit ears. Well, I'm kind of practicing. I got fluffy white stuff on my ears, around my ears anyway. So I will take that as a compliment, Skunk Rocker. Thank you. And as an aficionado of all things furry, I consider it a supreme compliment. Thank you, my friend. Actually, I probably look good in a Playboy bunny outfit too, but that's another issue. We're not here to judge freaks. Anyway, like when Zatanna has the magician gimmick that is amazing, in my opinion. Imagine if Chris Angel did a cameo in the comic. They'd probably have to pay him too much money for that. But no, Zatanna, her father actually was in Action Comics #1, which was the very first appearance of Superman, the June 1938 issue, #1. And he was in the DC universe for a number of years. And then in about 63, 64, they brought his daughter in, Zatanna, and she's been a member of the Justice League and been in cartoons, all kinds of cool stuff. Angie Waduda says, we are good, trying to keep warm. Going to take my daughter to see the new Ghostbusters movie later as a family. Now that sounds like fun. If Cookie gets Sunday off, because right now it's kind of a crunch time for her. She will be working OT on Saturday, but she doesn't know yet. She won't know till later today if she's working Sunday. And if she doesn't work Sunday, she and I will probably go see Ghostbusters then. And I'm looking forward to it. And I've heard everyone, this is a public service announcement from the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. I have been told from people who have seen it already, 1, it's fantastic. And it's worth checking out. And it is a worthy sequel to the original 2 Ghostbusters from 30 years ago. 2, do not leave the theater until the house lights go up. That they have actually gone the Marvel Universe one better. That they have, an after the credits scene, but apparently it does not happen until the final frames of the film. And I'm not talking about the final frames of the story, but after all the credits have rolled and it comes up, this Sony Productions or whatever, whoever the studio is, that at the very, very end, just before the house lights go up, there is a moment. So check it out. Do not leave. You have only yourselves to blame. You've been told. And Brian Robbins says, have you wondered how the brain of Brian works? You or me, either one is frightening, I suspect. Have you wondered what inspires my imagination, drives my creative energies? Me neither. But head on over to patreon.com/Brian Rodman and check out Memoirs of a Brian, his weekly blog about creativity and life. Come for the blog. Stay for the Princess Warriors webcomic launching in January that he's co-writing with his niece. That is so exciting. Yeah, a lot of the people who are on my my Patreon card that we started in the shows with have their own. Please check them out because they're doing some amazing stuff. All right. I wish I was as prolific as Bobby Nash. man, he's got 2 or 3 blog entries a day. They're beautifully designed. I'm just like type. So anyway, we'll get there. But anyway, and we had a good after show last night. That was a lot of fun, and hope you get some good out of that book. And I'll pull Brian out of a hat. It depends on where you grab me, Jake. And Carl Wisman grabs tape measure. I'll go count your episodes later. Yeah, definitely. Gosh, I wonder how many hours I have put in on this extravaganza. That would probably be frightening, and thinking about all the things I could have done that were productive, right? Anyway, from the desk of a small press publisher, I think you were closer to 50 on CBS. Remember, I was to appear on episode 30. Turned out I premiered on episode 28, and yet still on 30. See, I keep my promises, dude. I keep my promises. I told you you'd be on 30. And you've been on several times since, and you will be back again, whether you want to or not. We kept the negatives, man. We know what's going on. And great job, Joe D. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, it makes sense. I think we are close to 50 on that. When did we start that? Hold on a second. Now I gotta look. Let's see. Playlists. Let's look for Comic Book Spectrum. I don't think I've got all mine classified, but I've got at least 36 comic book spectrums. But it could be I do have more. But anyway, I just took a look at my YouTube page. We're on 775 subscribers. Thank you, everyone. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And would Cookie be able to make a custom jacket like she makes the vests? I don't think she's tried making like a real, jacket like with the lining and stuff, but she would probably be up for it. You'd have to pay for it. But anyway, Grant Lanker, good to see you, sir. Question: How do I forget that a show I've been watching for close to a year? He's backing up and trying again. How do I forget that a show I've been watching for close to a year is on? How do I forget? Are you trying to? Are you trying to forget that? Don't forget us, please. And message me, Brian. Rodman or Morris? Which one, Glenn? Probably me, because I want Helen. I want Helen to do something for me. Shut up, people. Anyway, Grant Laker, I was just thinking Glenn could maybe a good Mooney, but that's only if my first choice, Ian McKellen, turns me down. How could he turn you down, Grant? Have some confidence, will you? And I'm not gonna Durand Illusion, I'm not reading that. And Madam Executive Producer sounds like she is tired. Yeah, she had a long night, late bedtime, and then she gets a monthly massage. And it was early today, so she is she's running on vapors right now. I told her to take a nap this afternoon before she goes to work, so I'll watch over her while she sleeps. What could possibly go wrong? And Jake, I think you mean please. That's right. And Ted Davies Archery says Glenn B. Fleming and Helen Fleming will be doing an audiobook version exclusive for the Grimm 101 book series. Oh, beautiful. We are in discussions as we speak. Oh, Glenn, I've got something to ask you and Helen. Oh, boy. And Brian Robinson says, so BKM is my Roger. Welcome to Furry Dome, Brian. Yeah. Here we go, arm in arm. And George Saray says, my thoughts on The Last Stand may be a tad bit controversial, but you can listen to this show and all others at www.he'sgotit.com podcast. Check that out. Yeah, George, drop that link frequently, my man. We got to get some ears on your wonderful work, okay? And Grand Illusion shows, please stop. From the that's a small press publisher, now thinking of a sitcom called The Rodmans, where his wife is the modern-day gorgeous George. Yes, modern-day one was a woman. And Brian is Wheezy. I'm wheezy right now. I'm still having the effects. Anyway, from the flu shot. Anyway, Brian Robinson says, so I've heard nothing but good things about Ghostbusters Afterlife. 2 people that I trust have both said they ugly cried by the end of the movie. Ooh. Yeah, somebody in our family does ugly cry. Cookie has learned to overlook it, though. And I'm getting my arm twisted to see Ghostbusters. Nothing against the movie. I'm just a bit bitter about all the reboots. That's the thing. I did enjoy the previous reboot. That was fun. I enjoyed it a lot. I think it just got a bad rap because the fans, it's just like the people who think that, I hate to, bash the Trekkies because I'm a Trekkie. But, it's like I I was on a website years ago. I was even a moderator for a while, but they were like, you have to have it has to be William Shatner or no one. And this was when the new J.J. Abrams versions came out. And I'm like, it doesn't invalidate them. In fact, J.J. did a great thing in that this is a parallel universe, James Kirk. And they're like, oh no, it must never be played by anyone but William Shatner. And at the time, William Shatner was what, in his late 70s, early 80s? And it's like, no, you're not get that portly guy to waddle across the screen in armed combat with the Klingons. No. But they're like, oh no, it has to be him, and it has to be Leonard Nimoy. They can't use anyone else ever again. And they've got to make more of them. It's like, think about it for a moment. It's like, so that's one of the things where I part ways with the so-called fans of most shows, and that's why I love it when they lose their when they lose their over various things. That it's just a story, people. Just ignore it if you don't want to think it's canon. Doctor Who fandom is doing that right now. Of course, every time they get a new showrunner, the fans produce, volumes about why the show is now in its final days, and that, they said that, Russell T Davies ruined it. Then when he's gone, Stephen Moffat comes on, and the same people go, oh no, Moffat's killing the show, but Russell T Davies was wonderful. And then when he leaves, Chris Chibnall is now destroying the show, ruining all the episodes that came before it. But, Moffat was okay. Russell T Davies is a god. And now Davies is coming back. And of course, now they're starting up with not as much as before, but, now they're like, oh, how's he going to ruin the show now? Chibnall's still getting bashed, but when they introduced the Nightmare Child, and I'm like, yeah, this opens up storytelling for the show. Plus, we got Jo Martin as the Doctor. She has got to get more episodes. I love Jo Martin as the Doctor. She is so much fun. Anyway, lots of folks make more with audiobooks. That's true, they do. And the thing is with audiobooks, Philip Thompson, is that where paperbacks and ebooks kind of like do this every year as far as sales, audiobooks have done nothing but rise. So anyway, imagine a 3-day broadcast. We do 3-day broadcasts. In fact, we do 9 currently, and we are bringing back Clever Title Pending. I've got some great guests that I'm lining up. We just have to figure out what day we're doing it. But chances are what we may do with them is we're going to give the Patreon people, some of the shows are going to be for the Patreon subscribers. And then we will rebroadcast it later on YouTube and Facebook. So it pays to be a Patreon subscriber. You're going to get perks. So, and we will have some people we invite to provide questions if they're interested. So anyway, I'm up to 8 months ago, going to need more coffee and another sheet of paper. Oh, I know what you mean. I woke up to make sure Cookie got to her massage. So anyway, from Decimal Small Press Publishers, Ghostbuster movie is not a true reboot since it is taking place after the events of the second Ghostbuster movie. There we go. It's kind of like Superman Returns, which kind of ignored 3 and 4, which the more I watch those movies, I understand why. So, yeah, and I don't mind. Nothing's, nobody's holding a gun to my head saying I have to go see these movies. Nobody, and nothing they can do can really diminish my joy of the originals. And like I said, like Superman 3 and 4, I love Superman, right? But I go back and watch those films, and they're flawed. They're seriously flawed, except for Christopher Reeve, who was Superman. It's hard to unlike these things. It's like the joy I get watching the Batman episodes. I'm currently writing an essay on an episode of the 3rd season Batman from 1960. The show aired in 1968, and I'm seeing flaw after flaw because they cut the budget drastically, it seems, during the 3rd season, because there was the inevitable downward slide of the ratings. You're always going to have that in most cases, most shows. ABC, which broadcast the show originally, saw how expensive the first season was, so they cut the budget. And then as the look of the show, it's almost like it works hand in hand. As the show starts to lose viewers, they cut the budget more. And by the third season, you hear when you see a lot of writing about it, you see the term German impressionistic. There's just enough props around to suggest the presence of a building. But all of them seem to have black walls that stretch into infinity. And the episode I have, I wasn't looking for errors, but dear God, did I find them. And stuff that, like, when I was 12 watching the show originally, I never noticed. I was just it was Batman. That's all I cared about. But now that I'm watching it as an adult who has done movies, who has directed, who writes books, and I'm seeing all the flaws in the script, none in the performances, though. The actors are amazing, particularly the core group, and the guest villain and his henchmen are amazing. Seriously wonderful. Even though one of them is a little flawed as a human being. But anyway, as are we all. But it doesn't diminish my enjoyment of the show. I've watched that show just for this essay about half a dozen times. I'll probably watch it a couple times more to make sure all my facts are in place. But, it's it makes me wonder how low my standards for entertainment were when I was a kid. Anyway, 39 episodes of Comic Book Spectrum that I can count. Thank you, Carl. Yeah, I need to. Some days I'm better at than others. I need to go back and redo my SEO and make sure that they're all in the playlist for the appropriate shows. But anyway, and we're waiting. Well, keep waiting, dude. I'm busy at the moment, Glenn. Have mercy. And Growing Up with the Rodmans, the newest sitcom airing next year. There we go. And I meant you, Brian BKM. Okay. Fine, I'll send you a message. Anyway, later. I'm busy. I'm talking to people, being entertaining. Anyway, Grant Laker, that's another reason I don't want to get to see the new Ghostbusters. I'm kind of bitter about the reaction to the last reboot. Are you talking about your reaction or the reaction of everyone else? Why does that matter? People just, this is, if you spend any time on the internet, Grant, you probably know people love to hate, whether they hate it or not. So anyway, and I'm still busy, Glenn. Anyway, Brian Robbins says the Lady Ghostbusters movie wasn't bad. For me, it just didn't feel like the Ghostbusters. Yeah, I'll agree with that. It wasn't their fault. Their performances were not the problem. However, Chris Hemsworth absolutely stole the show in that movie. He was hilarious. Yes, I liked him. I also liked him in the Men in Black reboot. Yeah. And I give those shows props for not trying to be the originals. And if you go into a theater 30 years later and expect the same kind of chemistry, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. Why can't you have something new? Look at, again, I'll use Doctor Who as an example. They could have, Russell T Davies in 2005 could have gone in with shaky sets and quickly written scripts, but no. And scripts that couldn't decide whether it was a kid's show or a grown-up adult science fiction program. Instead, he went in and wrote mature science fiction with an emotional slant that was more in line with current television storytelling. And that's why it's a success. That's why it works. And that's why the format can be stretched to the breaking point and let it break. And when it comes back together, there's more to work with. So, a Men in Black without Smith and Jones, fine. I don't care. I just want a good story. And there's more than just those two agents in Smith and Jones in Men in Black. Same with Ghostbusters. Why can't they have a franchise? Why can't they have posts in not just New York City, but Chicago, LA, Dalton, Georgia? That's why I use fans in quotes anymore. I am so sick of people railing against shows because it doesn't meet the nostalgia standards of their youth. It's like, I'm not mad at Batman for not 66, for not having the great special effects that played in my head when I was 12. George Sarah says, I enjoyed the Ghostbusters 2016 too. Had a lot more fun than I expected, and there's a way to work it into the established canon. It wasn't Murray Ackroyd, Hudson, and Weaver making cameos in that. It was Peter Venkman, Ray Stantz, Winston Zeddemore, and Dana Barrett. That movie was based on their true story. Thank you, George Saray. I agree. Go in and intend to have fun, period, right? And don't judge it, judge it on its own standards. Don't judge it by what happened 30 years ago. Anyway, Donna Carlene, Doctor Who's in his final days because the scripts are crap. Love Jodie and will miss her. I think the writing's been wildly inconsistent, more so in the last couple of years. But the times when it really works, I think, have been amazing. I mean, Chibnall is not a bad writer. And I too love Jodie. I would love if she stayed on a couple more years. She is fantastic. And the longer she stays, the more I like her. But there have been some great scripts. Rosa, I think, was brilliant. And then there was the one, I think it was the following week in the first season, about the British occupation of India. I thought that was great. I really did. And I love the Nightmare Child. I love the concept. It's kind of like, and Donna will know this, I think, it's kind of like the Cartmel Master Plan, where he felt, he was the script editor of the final 7th Doctor seasons, and he had come to the conclusion that we knew too much about the Doctor, and that what needed to happen was we need to introduce a more mystery to the Doctor's past, so that we're still guessing about him. And I think this does the if anything, the Chibnall Master Plan, amps up what Andrew Cartmel started. That now we have not just the life of the Doctors in question, but the previous lives of the Doctor are now in question. Plus, we got a bravura performance from Jo Martin, and she and Jodie could just do a show together, and I wod pay to see it. I really would. It is so cool. In fact, I am toying with the idea of getting AMC Plus for a month just so I can watch all the Doctor Who episodes. I know I'm going to buy the DVD or the Blu-ray. Actually, I'm spoiled. But I think the scripts have been inconsistent, but there have been some really bright moments. I want to see the guy who played the Master back. He was great. I think he was a perfect blend of all the Masters, where he is bat crap crazy, just totally insane. Kind of, like a lot of Michelle Gomez, but with the cruelty of the older Masters. And I think that's a beautiful combination. And let's see, here we go. Grand Illusion Show says, did you see the new Jurassic World miniseries Camp Cretaceous? It's about 16s spending the night at Jurassic Park. No, I haven't. No. And what I meant was, never mind the furthermore, running for 3 days straight. We've done it. In fact, we did about 2.5 months where it was on 7 days a week. Lord help me. So anyway, and people were like, Brian, stop. Just stop. Anyway, Skunk Rocker says, incidentally, please buy a copy of Santa Sign now on Amazon. Thank you, Skunk Rocker. Much appreciated. Yeah, definitely get that. Also check out from BobbyNash.com and Amazon, Volume 2, of the Collected Snow Shorts. I am in there. You will love it. And let's see. Which Dan Aykroyd did you performance do you like better, more, Blues Brothers or Ghostbusters? I think I like Ghostbusters better. He had more to do, but I did like Blues Brothers, part of which was filmed in my hometown of Danville, Illinois. And wait, did you just say Christopher Reeve is Superman, but had a 5-minute tirade about people unable to accept anyone other than Shatner play Kirk? Yeah, I did, Eric. I'm wildly inconsistent myself, like a Chris Chibnall season. But no, Reeve transcended acting when he did Superman. Well, of course, he did that in almost every role I ever saw him in. But no, I do love George Reeves. I And I did see an article the other day about Brandon Routh would like to come back and do some Superman, possibly in the Kingdom Come mode. I welcome it. But no, it's my love of Superman does not preclude me from having other favorites. I like Dean Cain, although he's a little these days. It's politics. But I like Dean Cain. I like and Henry Cavill. Oh my gosh, he is so good as Superman. And the gentleman who played Tyler Hoechlin on Superman and Lois, he's awesome. He really is. And I think Superman's one of those roles that if you cast it right, is like Doctor Who, that you wonder who could replace him. They're that good. But Christopher Reeve, there's just something magical about his performances, and he sells it so very well. So no, I'm not precluding any other actor from playing Superman, heaven knows. But and I'm not even saying Christopher Reeves is my favorite, but he's up there. I like him. I like him better than Peter Lupus. How's that? Anyway, and I like Peter Lupus. He's awesome in Mission Impossible. Anyway, why should you never trust stairs? They're always up to something. I got my 52 card pin up yesterday. Says Ace Bonnie. Ooh, jealousy. Mine's in the mail. I think mine went out with the second wave of Kara's mailings, which is fine, because I don't think I got on the mailing in the first wave anyway, or the pledging. I think I was towards the end of it, but I did get my tracking number. Yes, and this is something I did when I ran my campaign almost 4 years ago for Spencer's Spook Comics. But Kara has been sending tracking numbers with her packages, and so you can keep track of when your package will show up for her 52 pinup deck. And I'm looking forward to it. Kara does great stuff, and Kara has a standing invitation to appear on our shows. So one morning, get this ready, because she will be back one day, because she and I have fun together. She's a great interview. But yeah, well, good for you, Ace. That's cool. I'll let everyone know when I get mine. And good point, Eric Hawkins. Yeah, gang up on me, you two. Gang up on me. And 39 CBS's, 81 clever tile paintings, and 251 or so, never mind the furthermores, any other impossible tasks anyone needs today. Wow, really? I'm surprised I have that few, never mind the furthermores, to be honest. 81 clever tile paintings. That makes perfect sense. Wow. Yeah. Now, did you count just my No, it wouldn't be just my YouTube stuff, I would think. But yeah, I'd have to check my Facebook stuff. My Facebook, because some of it. Remember, I'm fairly recent to YouTube comparatively, whereas this started out on Facebook alone. Which, by the way, I want to say hello to our new Twitter followers. Twitter, we are now trying to broadcast on Twitter. I don't know if we're coming through or not, but we are trying to broadcast on Twitter. Let's see. Are we being reached there? It doesn't say. But we have most people on here on the YouTube channel, so take a hint from that, right, honey? Right. You look confused.
Good morning.
Good morning, honey. How you doing?
Coffee.
Did you get more coffee? I've still got a little bit left. You want some extra? You can have the rest of this. We'll make more.
Want me to make more now?
Why don't you? Yeah, take the crap with you. You'll need it. Just stick a straw on the top there.
But it's empty.
Oh, okay then. Please make more, honey. May I have some more, please?
Food, glorious.
It's food. Here goes my copyright strike. Anyway, thank you, Carl, for that number there. Yeah, like I said, 39 comic book spectrums makes sense. I could see 81 clever tile paintings and 251, never mind the furthermores. Wow. We've done a lot. Anyway, Grand Illusion Show. Carl makes a good Hollywood sequel. Yes. Angie Duda says, as the saying goes, don't let others steal your joy. Plus, how amazing is that? Yeah. Well, that's it. It's like and we have these things to enjoy. Very wise. And that's why, I see occasionally I will post stuff on Facebook and I will put on there, don't pee in my Cheerios. You know, if we're celebrating something, I don't want to see you complaining about. Like I posted, I have regularly people that if I posted that somebody is giving away somebody gave me a $20 bill just because they like my fez. Somebody will inevitably chime in. Well, why didn't they give you 30? It's a really nice fez. Um, and I had a friend, and I'm not going to out the name. I was, but I posted something about a franchise a while back, and the first thing was, well, it's a corporate, entity now, and so it's sucked ever since somebody bought it out. Just because you don't like it, because you're anti-corporate, God, believe me, your anti-corporate rant does not match mine. Okay, but it's like, how does that affect the old stuff? It's one of those things like if you like John Byrne in 1986, that doesn't invalidate Kurt Swan's work on Superman, that sort of thing. And if you didn't like, like the last two Ghostbuster movies, that doesn't invalidate the first two. It doesn't even invalidate the old Filmation cartoon series. So get over yourself. Anyway, no thanks, Jake. I only do my own original stuff. Good for you, Carl. And original is good. And Portly Shatner, the man just swam with sharks for Shark Week and went to space. Yeah, and it's funny because I was standing in line in the supermarket last week, and one of the tabloids had an article on Shatner going up into space, which is a beautiful thing. I mean, I love William Shatner. I'm sure I would not feel that way after I meet him in person and stay with him more than 15 minutes. But he had a profound experience in space, and it was beautiful to watch as Bezos is trying to extricate himself from Shatner's embrace, and Shatner is trying to convey his absolute rapture. And God bless him for it. But yeah, it's can't take away Shatner's accomplishments. Seriously. And Captain Kirk, actually, I think is one of his best acting roles, because it's not quite like William Shatner. And there's some episodes of the original, or actually any of the Star Treks, where I'm like, wow, this guy's acting his butt off. He's really, really good. And Wrath of Khan, that's Oscar worthy acting right there. Anyway, and Philip Thompson says, I'm having somebody on Fiverr promote market my book. Good for you, Philip. You do that, seriously. But anyway, we'll try to leave Mr. Shatner alone because we got Meredith Loughran to say hello to. Mwah! How you doing, Meredith? Good morning. Check out AC Ragin on Facebook and on YouTube. Meredith, please put in a link to your stuff. You and Nina do such good work, and I love you both, ladies. And Glenn, the problem I have with Doctor Who and other shows is that the changes have been made for PC woke reasons. That is wrong. Yeah, I'm a little weary of woke myself. Although Jodie's been doing a good job. She really has. And the longer she is in the role, the more I like her. She is not worn thin with me. So,
Personal opinion?
Yeah.
It's not wrong to start talking about things that have been forbidden.
That's true. In case you couldn't hear that, Cookie said it is not wrong to talk about things that have been forbidden. And I hate woke for woke's sake. But if it gives us an episode like Rosa, which to me, the science fiction aspect was almost a distraction from the real story there. And the twist at the end where the time travelers become part of the history unavoidably. And there was some great acting going on in that show. I really like it. I am over social justice warriors. I'm over the opposite end of it too. I'm like right in the middle. Let's take the best from both sides and improve what we could do. Okay. Anyway, let's see. Here we go. And the way to go, you spoiled it now. It's really scary. A Jurassic Park show that's scary Grand Illusion show. Come on. I mean, really? I don't need to see it. Anyway, Eric Hawkins, we have had several great Superman actors, but just as many bad scripts. That's true. It's like I think I quoted a couple days ago. that Denny O'Neil, who wrote one of my favorite sequences of Superman ever, back in the early 70s, he said that Superman was so powerful that he could, not even bad writing could stop him. I believe he also said something I've incorporated in my daily speech, that he is so powerful he could like stop a train by just listening hard. So yeah, that's true. And I think, in Doctor Who, a lot of franchises, even Star Trek, Spock's brain, and the Cloud Minders, I do not like that episode one bit in the classic Trek. The other 77 are pretty real, range from great to off the charts amazing, but there's a couple in that third season I'm like, oh Lord, can we have some reruns? And same with Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise. Those films, while watchable, are Tom being James Bond. The subtlety of the original is lost. Yeah, and I have to admit, I've enjoyed them as action films, and I'm glad they've gotten back to the concept of it's a sting. The IMF is a sting operation sponsored by our government, which doesn't surprise me because I'm enough of a cynic. But the first movie, I did object to Jim Phelps being the traitor. It's been 20 years. I can spoil it, okay? But just out of respect for the character, I did have issues with that. But otherwise, I've enjoyed them. The thing is, Glenn, a couple of years ago, I got all 7 seasons of the original Mission Impossible that ran on CBS here in America. And yeah, some episodes were better than others, and it's kind of interesting how the show morphs because of the budget from being here's either the Central European or South American government we are overthrowing of the week, to where they're battling the syndicate, which is a thinly veiled reference to the mafia. It's kind of downgrading their missions, but there were still some great performances. And if you like, and if you want to see like some good stuff from like Leonard Nimoy after Star Trek, or a young and pretty Sam Elliott, he didn't. He wasn't always gray and looked like you could see every mile he ever walked on his face. He was a good actor back then too. A lot of great work and some terrific guest shots, people that and some good acting too. So it doesn't invalidate. The Tom Cruise stuff doesn't invalidate the original, as far as I'm concerned, even with the Jim Phelps thing. So, but we shall agree to disagree as always. And of the 251 Nevermind the Furthermores and 81 Clever Title Pendings, only half of them starred Kara Nicole, which is a flaw in our show. They should have all starred Kara Nicole. Okay? Just saying, Carl. I only counted YouTube. Okay, yeah, because I know that I didn't really start broadcasting on YouTube to any large degree until about the time of the lockdown, when I was part of Merida's network originally. So anyway, but so I've got now and Clever Title Pending did exist for a few months as a non-interview show. It was more like this show, but nighttime stuff, because we were going to get a little more blue on there, and then we decided not to. Anyway, it came up on Twitter newsfeed. Twitter newsfeed came up on my Twit newsfeed. Yeah, Twit newsfeed is right, and I'm including myself on there. Yeah. They're not tweets, they're twits. And if there's any place that is even more of a raging cesspool of inanity, it's Twitter. I'm only going on there because I would like to expand the audience, and I would like Twitter to be a part of it. So we welcome our Twitter friends. And please come see us on YouTube. The picture and sound are better. And Damian Waldron, always a pleasure, my brother. My 8-month-old grandson is enjoying the discourse, not indicative of the quality, just saying. The 8-month grandson has finally found somebody who can talk on his level, whether he wants to or not, right? check out Damian Waldron. If you need your website redesign, you can talk to that man. He did great stuff. And don't die, go feed Cookie. We've got time. We got time, Grand Illusion. We got about 20 minutes. Don't rush me out of here. Come on. And good morning, Nevermore. It's Rick Bradley. Glad to see you. Hope your morning is going better. And awesome fights and everything. Good to see it, Grand Illusion. And Donna Carlene says, yes, that was my only issue with the first MI movie. Jim Phelps was never the bad guy. Yeah, that's it. And here's another thing. Going back and watching those old episodes, of course, the first season did not have Jim Phelps in it. It was Dan Briggs, played by Stephen Hill, who went on to Law and Order about 25 years later. And he has an interesting backstory about why he wasn't on the show forever. But the thing is, towards the end, when Stephen Hill's having problems with the producers, I'll tell you what it was. He was he was of the Jewish faith, and it precluded, in his faith was so strong, he didn't want to work on Saturdays, his Sabbath. And so he, just stopped showing up, and they had to rewrite the scripts. And as the first season goes on, you'll see that Stephen Hill may get the assignment, then he'll assign the actors, and then they go off and do it without him. And then he maybe shows up at the end. Then he stops showing up at the end. He just launches the mission. And there's actually a couple of episodes where Martin Landau, as Roland Hand, is the IM chief of the mission. And there's even one or two with Cinnamon Carter, played by Barbara Bain, where she is the one that puts it all together. And then they got Jim Phelps for season 2, who went on for the rest of the seasons after that, and the 1980s revival. Yes, I love that show. But I agree with you that it never should have been Phelps as the bad guy. I thought that was cheap. That really was. Ace Bonnie says, Brian, do you use Facebook Messenger? I got Kara's poker chip set. If you would like to see it, I can send pictures. Yeah, I do. I have Facebook Messenger. Just send me a DM. I'd love to see it, Ace. Thank you. And I actually got into Star Trek because of Nimoy being on Mission Impossible. Well, I was the opposite. I saw him in Star Trek first, and then he did Mission Impossible, and I was already a fan of Mission Impossible. But yeah, that's very, very cool. And what is it? I remember seeing the Cinderella with Leslie Ann Warren back in the mid-'60s, and then when she became a regular, had a crush on her too. Anyway, Rick Bradley says Mission Impossible is just 2 hours of Tom Cruise running. I quit watching after trying the second one. They were action for action's sake and could not hold my attention. Some of the plots have been a little thinner than others, but there's been some good performances. And more fun than a monkey barrel, that would be Neon Smashword Cindy CKOEPP.com. Check out her website, redesigned by Damian Waldron. And it's awesome. And she is awesome too. And Hello Birth Thankmas Humor from Amazon, Santa Sign. And Cindy, I will get your edit done this weekend. I was feeling a little sickly the other day, and I haven't caught up with my workload. So anyway, I will try to get that done before the weekend. But thank you for your patience. And Robots Getting Snobby from Nicholas Anthony Tockert. That's the man. You got to check him out on Amazon, and also check him out tonight at 8 p.m. on the Historical Fencing Guild. He's always fun. Carl Witzman said, I should say, please don't forget to like this show or put a thumbs up. Thank you, Carl. Yes, if you enjoyed any part of the show, please give us a thumbs up. If you're on YouTube, please give us a like on Facebook, and please subscribe on both places. You can subscribe to videos on Facebook, but the picture and sound are better on YouTube. So anyway, Damien, corrupt those grandkids. That's right. The judge doesn't let me see kids for a reason, And I forgot to spring forward. Well, we'll wait while you do. And all the Magic Night Rights need. Check it out. John B. Pike at johnpica.com. Also check out Back of the Cereal Box tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. Great stuff. A lot of fun. And love the MI show. The movies are okay if you pretend they're not Mission Impossible. Kind of like the more recent Bond. Fine movies, but totally out of character. The thing is, I think the most accurate to the books was Timothy Dalton. There was just something really cold about his Bond. But the thing is, I think he was kind of like Colin Baker in Doctor Who, was not well served by his writers at times. The second Dalton movie kind of fizzles after about halfway through, but he is amazing. He is freaking amazing. And someone asked me my choice the other day for it was on one of my comments on my YouTube on the BK Minutes. Please check them out every day. We're doing that 7 days a week. You'll get some good advice, I think. Who would be the cast of Volcana in the animated series and a live action? I said live action. It's got to be Timothy Dalton as Vulcan. He would be so good. And Johnson Lastry, good morning, Brian. My printer is shipping books for my Christmas pop-up shop here in Lexington, Kentucky. Oh, that's fantastic. Hey, John, I've got a show in Lexington, Kentucky next year. I'll give you details. We're going to be at the Louisville Legendary Book Bash. But anyway, maybe we can see each other there. That would be cool to meet you in person. And Dastardly Dingoes every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. on the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. Check out their channel and subscribe, would you please? And we didn't get Star Trek when it originally ran out in the Boondocks. We didn't get that channel. Well, I watched it on Channel 15. Star Trek, I watched on Channel 15 WICD. And I'm old enough, Donna, I remember when the studio was in Danville, up on North Washington near WDAN. But yeah, I watched Star Trek during its original network run. And then when I moved right afterwards out to Washington, D.C. area for almost a year. And then it started in the syndication. And I remember for a while, WILL ran it in the afternoons with Andy Bendell doing a 10-minute show on background on the show. So that was always interesting. That helped a lot. And I found out the girl from The Creature from the Black Lagoon was in Andy Griffith episode. She played the Doctor. Yeah, she's a lot of those people cross over into those shows. They are cool. And Cindy kept has 6 wonderful items up for auction this week. Thank you, Cindy. Yeah, Meredith, I would love to get in on an auction. I wrote Nita, but I was late. I may be late getting in there. If nothing else, maybe I'll send a donation, okay? And no worries. Hope you're feeling less puny. I'm feeling considerably better. I would almost have to. Like I said at the start of the show, it's like Wednesday night, I think. Yeah, it was Wednesday night. I was just like, angel of death, where's thy embrace? Then about, after making out very late at night, I'm sitting there and I'm working and I'm like, wait a minute, I feel good. What the heck's going on? It's like, it was like my COVID shot, last year. It's like I had a bit of a reaction to the second shot. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I feel bad. Wait a minute, I'm okay now. It's almost like somebody flipped a lever or something and I'm well again. Anyway, Carl Witzman says, I don't know if Donna announced it, but her proof copy of the next book looks good, so expect Name of the Father to be out soon. Yes, that's what I love to hear. Thank you, Carl, for sharing that. Oh, and Meredith Loughran, if you're still listening, please put in a link, if you have one, to the stuff you're doing for Luke Stone. Okay, because if nothing, and please promote on the Rising Tide publication page. Okay, because we want to get some. I want to make sure that people know about it. All right, I will do that part for our guy. And Nerd Culture, Ryan Permison has that. Check out his great array of shows on YouTube. And from the desk of the Small Press Publisher, that's Joe D. McPhee every Saturday night on the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. Check out that show. It is always good and already being done, Ted. You tell him, Damian Waldron. And Rick Riley also heard that they want Peter Graves to come back and reprise his role, but he didn't want Phelps to be the bad guy either. Yeah, and I remember reading that before the Tom Cruise version, somebody was shopping around a story where basically the old members of the IMF team, the classic IMF team, were being murdered one by one. And so Phelps was going to go into action, assemble a brand new team to investigate those murders. So anyway, yeah, that would have been, I'd like to see that screenplay. That should be fun. And did you know the director of the live action Grinch was Andy Griffith, and Ron Howard's brother was also? Yes, Clint Howard is frequently in many of Ron Howard's directorial efforts, and he's also in a great movie with the Ramones called Rock and Roll High School. And Clint Howard was also the star of Gentle Ben, starring Dennis Weaver, who was also in Gunsmoke, the TV series, as Chester, the deputy. And also Clint Walker was in a classic episode of Star Trek, which was a really good episode that you can't judge by appearances. And also in the episode Miri, starring Kim Darby, who was in True Grit with John Wayne and Glenn Campbell. One of the kids in the episode, aside from Michael J. Pollard, who won an Oscar for Bonnie and Clyde and was in an episode of Superboy as Mr. Mixyez-Pitlick, was also Philip Morris, who went on to be in Friends, Smallville as John Jones, and was also played the son of Barney Collier in the 80s revival of Mission Impossible. See, it all links together. Anyway, David Waldron says, I bought him a Spider-Man costume before he was even born. You should have, at the birth scene, just slid him into the costume. That would have been perfect. And scar the kid for life the minute the sunlight hits him, right? Anyway, Grant Lankert, do you like the James Bond books? I only read Casino Royale and hated it. I want James Bond to be goofy, escapist, fun, not so serious. Well, Grant, that was the thing. When those things came out, I think in the 50s, originally, starting in the 50s, they were meant as serious espionage tales based on the fact that Ian Fleming during World War II was a spy for the British government. But I think it depends on what Bond you started with. Now, of course, I'm old enough. My first, like Doctor Who, your first is the one. My first one was, of course, Sean Connery. My favorite was probably Timothy Dalton, though. But actually, Sean Connery was not the first. There was a TV omnibus series, kind of an anthology, and they did an American version of Casino Royale with Jimmy Bond. Barry Nelson played Jimmy Bond, and his British counterpart was Felix Leiter. No, I love them. They're very well written. And I do like the original Fleming books. I haven't read them in ages, though. I probably need to get back to that. But that's the thing. I think Bond for a while suffered from the camp thing. I did not like Moonraker. It was just too many gimmicks for me. Wasn't really a serious enough show for me. I liked it when they Bond needs not goofy and cuddly. He's cold. He's calculating. The one scene in the Timothy Dalton movie, I think it was the first one, where Felix Leiter had been, basically almost killed. He found the guys who did it and then pushed them into that alligator pit. And that scene where they're thrashing about and trying to escape the alligators unsuccessfully. And then it cuts to Bond and his friend, and you hear the screams of the men. And the guy with Bond is like, oh, and Bond is just like, just making sure they got them all. That's my Bond. Anyway, do you need an editor? How about Neurosis? Hey, I just started reading Neurosis by Amy Hale, and it's sensational. It's a good book. So definitely pick that up on Amazon. And definitely, if you need editing or formatting for your book, contact Amy Hale. Very reasonable prices, trust me. And Warriors, Michaela Jade's got them. Check them out. Check out what Michaela does on Amazon. Get that Warriors trilogy. It still boggles my mind. We have Lucille Ball to thank for the legacy of Star Trek. Yeah, that's the thing. There's a beautiful museum in Western New York, in Jamestown, New York, where she was born. It's the Lucille Ball Museum. It's Cookie and I went there a couple of years ago. It was fantastic. And yeah, she was a very innovative businesswoman. She fought to get Star Trek on the air because it was originally done through her Desilu Studios. And at one point, Desilu was either actively producing or, like about a dozen shows that were on all three major networks. And then they were still allowing their production facilities and their studios to be used by other shows in the air, in Hollywood. So they were pretty active for the longest time until Paramount bought them out. So yeah, Lucille Ball she's not just the queen of comedy, she's the queen of science fiction as far as I'm concerned. And you want poetry, you gotta get the 2 books by Teresa Dunn, who's busy working up on her 3rd. So well done, Cindy. Thank you for that notice. And dude, you can't diss Sam Elliott like that. He's one of those men that keeps getting better looking with age, and the women love him. I admit it, man. He is, he was pretty back in the day. And Tommy Lee Jones was in the pilot movie for the original Charlie's Angels. You see him in that, and it's like he's an okay actor, but he's male model pretty. But Sam Elliott, when he did, he's kind of rugged, but still pretty. But you're right, that man, he's, he just gets better looking. He's like a wine, man. He's like better with age. And I loved him in the original Ghost Rider movie. Anyway, Hysterical Fencing every Friday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern on the Historical Fencing Guild with Nicholas Anthony Tucker. And did you grow up with the movies Don Knotts was in? Yes, I did. I saw a few in the theater, but mostly I saw them on TV. And comic-related madness, Pops Van Zandt, you need it. And at the end of the month, check out CromCon, monthly extravaganza from Pops. And Hybrids from Luke Stone Studios, please get that. Those are great comics. And Bear Publications has stuff such as Animal Eye, the novel by Cindy Kep, and Animal Eye #1 comic. And I'm going to get that #3 script done this weekend, I hope. And Kick Zombies Out of Oz. Go to Comixology, where you can find the work of Eric S. Hawkins and also Joe D. McPhee for Amazonia and his other great works. And Renmelian is in charge of the Brown Coats of Kentucky. Don't let them take your skies away. And Memoirs of an Angel and the Memoirs of an Angel's Nebulizer from BrianRodman.com. Stormgate Press for the award-winning Pulp Reality #1 and 2 and #3 is currently in production. Check it out. And they've got some plans coming up that I'm privy to, and you're going to get excited by. Hyper Sandy Books reviews from the land down under. And check out The Other Art of Roll Cruise, the artist on Animal Eye, the great comic book written by Cindy Kep. And Christopher Lee was James Bond. That man was possibly the coolest man that ever lived. Oh my God, yes. He's one of those guys, it's funny because I remember when they announced that Pat Boone had done an album of heavy metal music, and I'm like, really, Pat? Really? But Christopher Lee announces, yes, I'm doing heavy metal for an album. And I'm like, cool, I'm on board. It's like, Christopher Lee could be like, I'm going out this afternoon and killing 12 ponies with my bare hands. Hey, listen, take pictures, Chris. Love to be there. So it's like Christopher Lee could do no wrong. He was so cool. And her help for the hurting. Check out the work of Victoria Adams. Really, on a serious note, Victoria's a terrific writer, and she's got some really good books out there. So please check her out. And Trolls Are Heroes too. If you talk to S.L. Rowland, definitely check out those books. And fun anthologies from yeolddragonbooks.com, Meet the Dragons, which I'm told has a certain someone in there. You need that. And yes, I have seen the Apple Dumpling Gang. Don Knotts is always good, and he and Tim Conway made a great team together. Animal Eye colorist Denver Martires has other art too. Talented colorist, good color choices on Animal Eye #1 from BearProductions.com. And George Seurat, they went all out with the British agent being the sidekick to the U.S. agent in the 1954 Casino Royale by naming him Clarence Leiter. That's it, Clarence Leiter. Hardly the name of a leading man, and I'm glad to hear some love for Dalton. The Living Daylights is my pick for #4 of the all-time best Bond movies. I'd be interested to hear your top 3, George, if you're still around. Timothy Dalton. I think he came closest to the Ian Fleming model of James Bond. Now, Sean Connery was a darn close second. I'm trying to think. Probably Daniel Craig is after him. Pierce Brosnan. He and Craig kind of flip-flop in my head. And Roger Moore. I love Roger Moore. But to me, Roger Moore will always be Simon Templar. I'm sorry. He's a great James Bond. I've seen him do some really terrific acting in other roles. But or he's Danny Sinclair. I think George and Glenn are like, oh, a fan. Anyway, now don't die, Feed Cookie. We've got 1 minute, man. We've got 1 minute. And snow, even in summer. Yes, and I got my copy of the second volume of the Snow Shorts compilation. Check it out. I'm in it, and it's a very entertaining story. We got 3 of them in there, so definitely check them out. Go to BobbyNash.com. BobbyNash.com. For all your snow needs. A great show today, even if I was waking up and missed the first part. That's okay, Carl. It improved once you got here. It's Art76 for Vintage Cartoonists. Check out the artwork of Bill Starn on Facebook for where everything old is new again. And I used to have a cat that looked like Sam Elliott, a very handsome cat, I'm sure. And Cindy Cap says, the end of my break has arrived. Happy Friday. Don't forget to tip your host. Thank you. And bring Cookie home. Indie Author Book Expo, Black Friday Book Expo. See y'all there on a week from Saturday. I will see you there, darling. Oh, you some hugs. And let's hope the weather holds up. I'm monitoring the weather. And imagine Sam Elliott reading your audiobook. Oh, gosh, Ace Bonnie. Ooh. That's what I say. That would be, he would be on a very short list of people that read whatever you want of mine. Read whatever you want. He's a very short lister for me. And am I the only one who knows that it seems like Patrick Swayze's girlfriend kind of seems like she's trying to pull a polyamorous thing with Sam Elliott and Roadhouse? Can you blame her, Grant? Can you really blame her? It is Sam Elliott. I would understand. Seriously, I would understand. And I cannot believe this location took 45 minutes. Good Lord, says Skunk Rocker. Well, I'm going to miss the rest of the show at this point while I try to catch up, so don't die. Feed Cookie. Have a great weekend. See you on Monday. Skunk, love you, brother. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope your weekend's even better. And Rick Riley says, of course, if we mention Timothy Dalton, we got to talk about Nazis and jetpacks. Damn right we do. And Brenda Starr and Dr. and Rassilon. And the man... Timothy Dalton can do no wrong. Plus, I bought the first season of Doom Patrol. I'm looking forward to it. Bobby Nash says he's a great guy. When you on movie sets, there are different levels of actors. You have your name actors, you have your guest stars, and then you have like extras who are there basically to fill a scene. They may not even have dialogue, and they may not even speak at all. Their general hubbub is added later in post. But Bobby Nash has appeared a couple of times on Doom Patrol, currently streaming on the HBO Max, I think it is, or whatever. But he said that Timothy Dalton, and there's a rule that the extras don't talk to the regular actors. But he said that Timothy Dalton came up to him and said, well, how are you doing? I'm glad you're here, et cetera, and said he's been an absolute delight to work with. That he's always, he's always, making sure everybody's happy on the set and everything, and said he gets along with them wonderfully with a couple of the other actors on there. But Dalton just like goes out of his way to be nice to people, which is really good to hear because he plays such an SOB in The Rocketeer. So and that's one of my favorite movies ever, if not my favorite. And okay, now that Grant Laggard has made everyone uncomfortable, I'll call it a day. Your work here is done, young man. I love you guys. Have a good day. Don't expire while giving Cookie sustenance. I promise. And you treat Angie good this weekend, my brother. Good to see you, Grant, as always. And Ted Davies artist for a great show. And see y'all tonight on Drinking with the Davies, starring Christine Davies and some unnamed helper. Anyway, Ted, have a great day, my friend. And awesome, my comment got blocked. Fun. And before you ask, no, it's like 35 minutes ago. This comment got blocked, so who gives a crap? Well, what was it about, Skunk? It was the only comments that I have blocked. There's an automatic function in YouTube where you can post. You can have certain things that if somebody posts it, it is blocked. But they're all basically racial, ethnic, and sexual insults. Okay, and I'm sure you wouldn't have put that up, so I have no idea what the bots are doing, Skunk. So I apologize for that. But anyway, we will go back and try to figure it out. And don't make Amy angry. That's right. Just like She-Hulk and Bruce Banner, you wouldn't like them when they're angry, and don't make Cookie angry either. I try not to, but it's sometimes, A great show. Don't IP Cookie and bring Cookie home. Thank you, Ace Bonnie. That is our goal every day. And Cookie and I, Cookies, much love. You too, Jake. Have a good one. Rick Radley says, I've noticed that actors can play the most evil villains are some of the nicest people around. James Marsters, for example, of course. Yeah. I've made mention on here. I met Marsters in person one time. I did an interview with him in the Superman celebration in Metropolis. One of the nicest guys around, seriously, and put up with my idiot questioning, and just was a joy to work with. He really was such a gentleman, and he's on my short list too. If he ever, if he said I would like to do the narration for Skyman, I would drive the manuscript over to his house. That's the sort of thing. Angie Duda says, everyone have a wonderful day. You too, sweetheart. Well, glad to see you here as always. Rick Bradley, everyone take care and stay creative. You too, Rick. Have a good one. And IOK Skunks Comics comment 35 minutes ago. Hold on. Carl Witzman, OK Skunks comment 35 minutes ago. Thank you, Carl. Appreciate that. And good morning to Sarah. Good morning. Just got home from Toontown. Give my love to Roger and Jessica Rabbit while you're there. Anyway, Sarah, always glad to see you. Hope it went well. And hashtag bring the rising tide home. That's right. We'll have the home edition. Y'all can play. And show is just ending, Sarah. Sorry. Yeah, just wanted to pop in and say hi. Thank you, Sarah. Always appreciate you. And don't know how it didn't go through. Whatever it was a joke about how fans are terrible and will always complain about. And the punchline was encouraging them to buy something. I am sorry. I missed that now. And so when Brian read the punchline and not the first part of the joke, it just ruined everything. So who cares? I care, Skunk. That's why. Because, there are people on here who contribute to the show. I'm like, why did you post that? And I'm one of them occasionally, but no, you're not on that list. You're fine. And I make cookies angry all the time. Of course, I eat them for Christmas. We'll talk about that in the green room tonight. Sarah says, I don't recall Rodman being so near me. Oh my goodness. You'd know it. He's a great hugger. Trust me. Anyway, but no, and his beard would tickle your nose. But anyway, glad you're all here. Thank you for showing up today. And Rodman Rabbit. That's true. And somewhere around here, I did move it, but I do have that illustration. We will be creating the NFT for it later. But anyway, thank you all for being here. Thank you for a full show today. And if you have not already, please like this if you're watching on Facebook. If you're watching us on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Just takes a second. Doesn't cost you a thing, but just a few seconds time, and it helps a lot. And I do appreciate it. And let's see, next week's schedule for me will be, we will have the regular Monday and Wednesday, never mind the furthermore, but Black Friday, we will be at a show in West Des Moines, Iowa. Unless we get snowed out or something, there are a couple of storm systems heading across the northern part of the country, southern Canada, that we are keeping an eye on because I don't like driving in bad weather, not snow at least. The only snow I like is Bobby Nash's. But anyway, so as of right now, we will not have a show on Friday. Unless Carl feels like doing one. And if you don't, I understand. We'll take a day off, all of us. But otherwise, we will have the BK Minutes happening every morning. That will happen like clockwork. We'll set that up. And Comic Book Spectrum will not be on next Thursday, again, because of Thanksgiving. But we will have the Monday and Wednesday, never mind the furthermores. So that's the schedule. So anyway, thank you. Thank you all for being here. And let's go through the litany of gratitude that we must all have. It does come back and it benefits us. And we want to say how grateful we are to Jeffrey Hayes and Plasma Fire Graphics for their sponsorship of our shows. Plasma Fire Graphics, the look of your book matters to you. You say you want a great wraparound book cover for your paperback manuscript. You say you want some great graphics to sell that book along with maybe a book trailer, and you want it all at independent creator prices, then you need to check out Plasma Fire Graphics. They've got a great page on Facebook, and then go over to plasmafiregraphics.com where you can contact Jeffrey Hayes directly and ask his rates. You're going to be astonished at how affordable he is. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you. Yes, you, right there. Because it matters to your readers. And also, somebody that matters to me are our Patreon subscribers. We're very grateful to you all. You're all helping keep this show and others on the air. Our Patreon is www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris. And for a modest monthly stipend, you can get a hold of my blog, and also you're going to get to see some videos before anyone else does pretty soon. So please check out our Patreon and see what rewards we have for your support. And thank you very much for considering it. And also check out the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, 7 days a week of entertainment and information. And like I said, today is Friday, so you've already seen the BK Minute. Hopefully check it out. We've got some good stuff on there occasionally, more often than not. And then later tonight, we've got Drinking with the Davies with the rum chata going on there. It's going to be great. That's at 7 p.m. And then at 8 p.m. will be the Historical Fencing Guild. Always fun with Nicholas Anthony Tockert, and also the Green Room with Uncle Carl. All kinds of good stuff. So please check out our Facebook page and give it a like if you would. And with that, we are out of here. We hope you all, the editorial hope you have a sensational weekend, and see what you can do to make it good for someone else. And we're going to go see if we can spoil Cookie for a couple hours before she goes to work. And as always, folks, again, thank you for your ongoing support. Thank you for watching our shows. And you have no idea how much we appreciate you. So have a great Friday and a fantastic weekend. And as always, stay smart, stay safe, wash your hands, and never apologize for being awesome. Have a great, great weekend, and we'll see you Monday morning on a brand new Never Mind the Furthermore. Have a great weekend, one and all.
Thank you for watching Never Mind the Furthermore, a Rising Tide Broadcast Network production. If you enjoyed any part of this show, please give it a like or a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and consider becoming one of our Patreon supporters. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time on Never Mind the Furthermore.
Hey, yo, Pops here. Are you looking to be on Monday Madness? Is Monday no good? You need a special edition? Are you looking to be on the first timer spotlight on for you new guys? Launch parties, countdowns, CromCon Monthly. We got it all right here at the Madness Comic Network, providing online promotional services for the indie comic community and proud sponsor of
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we add more.
Visit cb4k.org.
Author Cindy Kepp is writing on the edge. Books include Remnant in the Stars, The Loudest Actions, Lines of Succession, Mindstorm, Condemned Courier, the Yerushalayim series, and Animal Eye. Find author Cindy Kepp at ckoepp.com today.
Hi, I am Joe D. McPhee. I am the host of From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher, and I want to cordially invite you to watch our show, Saturdays at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. On our show, we will have different guests as well as talk about the comic book industry and pop culture. And every so often, I might actually do a drawing session or a 3D rendering session every here and there. So once again, I want to invite you to watch From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher right here on the broadcast channel that you're looking at, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Hope to see you there, and make certain that you catch From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks.
Choose high-flying action. Choose death-defying escapes. Choose spine-tingling thrills. Choose nail-biting intrigue. Now's your chance to choose the adventure. The Captain Hawkland Adventures. Available on Amazon.com.
Secrets, trust, worth. The bond between souls intertwined within otherworldly intrigue. Michaela Jade brings forth the Elite Warrior series, a collection of dark fantasy romance novels set in a twisted world where power lusts in the hearts of men and devotion seduces the souls of women. Warrior's Secret, Warrior's Trust, and Warrior's Worth. Available now at authormichaelajade.com.
From author Brian K. Morris comes a classic hero in a high-flying, fast-paced, and action-packed steampunk adventure. The original Skyman battles the Master of Steam with an introduction by comics icon and historian Roy Thomas. A Rising Tide, an Ace Comics publication. Available now in print or digital format on Amazon.com.